Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, we could really use your help. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, recently named the Two Opinionated podcast one of its top 100 podcasts. This is a monumental feat for this program. You know, we're a father and son team out of a small town in West Virginia, have been doing this for about 5 years. There's 15 million podcasts out there. About 40,000 of those get to the point that they're listed on IMDb. Out of those 40,000 out of the 15 million, we were ranked number 82. Something that we're just immensely proud of. We're so thankful for our listeners, our watchers, our fans. Thank you so, so much. If you would like to help us out, and we're asking for it, please. It's easy. It's really easy. It's free. If you go to IMDb, that's imdb.com, look up Two Opinionated Podcast, and just take a look at the page. That's all you have to do. I mean, you're welcome to look at the cast, look at the episodes so you can kind of see who's been on the program. Do whatever you want. But even just bringing up the page, imdb.com, Two Opinionated Podcast, bring up the page, look at it. That helps us so much. So please, if you can do anything, we would really appreciate that. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Love to have your subscription there. It's also free. And you can also check out our website, meistercon.com, where you'll find almost 700 episodes, audio and video, available on there. There's also a terrific blog from Brett, and it'll let you know anything that we have going on in studio, if we're covering a convention, if we're going on location, anything that we have going on will be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so, so much. We appreciate you so much. I can't express enough how appreciative we are of all of you. We never expected to do as well as we have, and that's all because of you. Thank you so much. Enjoy that interview. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got two people with me today. I've got actor, writer, director Miles Doleac and actress Lindsay Anne Williams, both with me today. So excited. So welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're very happy to be here.
You know, Miles, I was a big fan of Demigod. We had Elena Sanchez has been on the program back when Demigod was just coming out, and I was lucky enough to get a screener and got to see. We showed that one here at the studio and had we probably had 20, 25 people in here watching that one. Absolutely loved it. We had the best time.
Cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. The Elena Sanchez.
Of course.
Who's also a part of Open.
I saw. I love the fact that you tend to use a lot of the same actors and actresses. You know, I think as a fan, we always love that when we see people show up in the same person's work.
Yeah, I was recently doing an interview with Jeremy London, and Jeremy referred to the Miles Doleac acting troupe. And I thought that was such a wonderful way of couching it, you know. I'm one of those creatures of habit, you know, and I find people that I like to work with who have great energy and we have chemistry together. I just keep going back to the well. For me, that kind of familiarity and knowing what you're getting and knowing that actor is going to give you their all is so huge for me. So, you know, this is the third film we've done with Jeremy. It's the second we've done with Elena. It's the second we've done with Will Forsythe. It's the third we've done with Johannes Miles. So a lot of.
I mean, it's a shame you can't get, you know, more talented people. I mean, that's a pretty good group to work with.
They're pretty stellar.
Well, and not only talented, but really quality human beings on top of that. So it makes set just a pleasure to be on most of the time. So. Yeah,
I think that's awesome. So when you guys started working together, how did that go? Lindsay, did you always, you know, have you always acted, or were you doing other stuff attached to it and then kind of moved into the acting?
So I have been acting since I was a very small child. And then I kind of moved into dancing and then totally stopped doing anything artistic. And when Miles and I met, we actually met in academia. We both are classicists.
Oh, okay.
We met doing ancient Greek. We were reading Homer. And so kind of got into film because I had only ever done theater and stuff like that. And so I got into film from my association with Miles. And when he wrote The Historian and we produced that, his first feature, I've also been designing clothes and costumes ever since I was in high school because my mom refused to keep making cosplays for me. So when you know that film got off the ground, I really kind of knew that I wanted to be the costume designer for that because it was kind of important to me. And so I've kind of been both in front of and behind the camera for my entire film career, basically.
I mean, do you have a preference?
I very much prefer acting.
Yeah.
But I also I can't not do the other stuff. Like production design and costume design is so rich with storytelling opportunities and ways to just really make the story even more nuanced and to give people that subliminal subconscious message that they don't even realize that they're getting. And so having the opportunity to do both is really just a dream come true.
Well, and especially when you're working on a budget, it doesn't hurt if you are able to do multiple roles.
Right. It does help save a little money.
Yeah, the multi-hyphenate thing is something that is as much necessity as want on our projects. You know, it's not that we love wearing all these hats and running around like chickens with our proverbial heads cut off, but you know, when Lindsay can production design, costume design, produce, act, and I can direct, produce, act.
Right.
And you know, even with Elena was a producer on this one for the first time, and she was an enormous help, enormous asset to our team.
Oh man, took so much weight off of both of our shoulders, considering how much we were both doing.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have made the film without her. She was amazing.
The fact
hard worker.
Yeah. The fact of the matter is, if we had to, and you know, on this film in particular, I think there was no one but Lindsay to design it, especially with regard to the costumes. I mean, we had this really the music video elements of the film with their very clear 80s post-punk synthwave look. I knew that Lindsay would deliver that. I knew that she immediately knew what I was talking about when I would say, you know, I want him to look like, you know, Rio era Nick Rhodes, Duran Duran, you know, like that immediately clicked for her. Oh, okay, I know what you're getting at. And they're just that, again, that familiarity and that vernacular and that shared vocabulary. You just, that's something that only emerges with time. And so I attribute that to just that working relationship that you continue to cultivate and evolve. And maybe that's why I keep going back to the same well and working with these same awesome people.
It does make the set go, I mean, the shoot go a little bit faster when you don't have to explain yourself so much because they know what you're going to say.
Well, and that's important when you're on a budget too. When you're doing a, you know, something where you have to be done at a certain time. Yeah, that helps.
Sure
Yeah.
does.
Well, so let's talk about the movie. So it's Open is the name, and it's a musical comedy thriller. I think sounds awesome. But tell us a little bit about, you know, what's the movie about?
Well, so the film is about a couple who's struggling in their marriage. They're going through a difficult time. They've suffered this recent tragedy, and they just can't find their equilibrium. So they decide, let's try something new. Let's try opening our marriage. Maybe we can reinvigorate the marriage. Maybe we can bring a little bit of mystery and enigma and passion back into the proceeding. So the wife, played by Lindsay, gets into a relationship with a former teen TV heartthrob, played by, in a very meta turn, by Jeremy London. and who is not nearly at the same level of success and celebrity that he once was. He's sort of fallen off the radar. He's become jaded and bitter, and while the husband makes a safer play and starts dating the couple's very close friend, Emma, played by Elena Sanchez. And that was kind of the original conceit, that this couple decided to explore open marriage. It was kind of like originally in the spirit of something like Marriage Story. We were both very interested in sort of plumbing the depths of long-term relationships and the pitfalls that inevitably emerge. And then I got this wild hair. I got this wild inspiration to pepper the proceedings with these music videos that would represent Kristina, our leading character's internal monologue.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah. Thought, we could do voiceover or something like that, but man, why don't we just go for it? I was a child of the 80s. I grew up listening to Duran Duran and Depeche Mode and The Cure and all those amazing new wave bands, Susie and the Banshees, New Order.
Yep.
And I said, what if we have Kristina's sort of psychological journey traced through 80s style music videos? And I don't know if Lindsay was fully convinced at first, but
and I said, I was like, let's just do it for the first 20 pages and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, we'll go back to what we had before. But the way that I always kind of thought of it was, okay, so we're doing this music video part. We can write the whole movie this way. We don't have to commit to it yet. We can make, because they can lift out and you still have this other story.
Right.
But by the time we got done with those 20 pages, it was like, okay, this is the way to go. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
Full blast. Let's go. So
being a musician too, a longtime singer and songwriter, it was kind of something of a dream for me to, I have written songs for our movies in the past, but nothing of this scope.
Right.
Right.
And big kudos not only to Lindsay, who was a co-songwriter on this, but my very close friend and one of my closest collaborators, Clifton Hyde, who's another repeat offender in the Miles Doleac, who has now composed 6 of our films. And this was a tall task. I know he put in a lot of time getting these songs where they needed to be. And then our 4th musketeer was Oliver Hofer, who's also a credited songwriter. But we had a lot of fun with this music.
Yeah, you need to put out a soundtrack for this one.
Oh, we do.
Awesome.
We have it. It's out. It's you can find it on all of the the major streaming platforms. So if you go to your platform of choice, Spotify, whatever, and punch in Kristina's Glam Hallucination Band, you can find the open soundtrack.
Yeah.
I love that.
And we're doing a limited edition vinyl release coming up here shortly in a couple of weeks, which is super cool.
No, we all miss vinyl.
Yeah. It's so cool because that's like, it's, physical media has gone away basically. So having that thing, that piece, that record right there, it's just going to be really awesome. So that's coming out soon too.
I'm a big vinyl file, and one of my things that I absolutely had to have on this, I was like, look, if we're going to do this, we got to do at least a limited vinyl release. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, the vinyl record will be out shortly.
Any Lindsay, when you were kind of prepping for the role, any issues with having to sing, or is that something you're pretty comfortable with?
At this point, I'm definitely comfortable with it. It also was, because it was written for me, it's not like it was anything.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Fit it already fit me. So it's not like I'm sitting there trying to sing Evita. So it was, and I've been like Miles said, he always writes a couple original songs for each film, and every single time I'm like, I've only gotten one, and I'm like, I need more songs. Give me more songs. I want more songs. So finally he's like, all right, you want more songs? Here's 10.
Be careful what you ask for.
Right. So yeah, no, it was more exciting, I think, than anything else. I wasn't wasn't really nervous. I think we had gotten past the nervousness, because if it didn't work, it wasn't going to work. So might as well just.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah. If you already knew you had a fallback,
Yeah.
why not go for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the biggest challenge with the songs and the videos were that the songs had to be ready to go when we started shooting.
Right.
Because all of the videos are recorded to playback. The actors are singing, but we're not recording live sound per se. It's effectively, kind of, high-end lip syncing. So so the arrangements of the songs, the BPM, all that had to be spot on. It had to be basically as close to its final incarnation as possible.
Well, and especially in the instrumentation, because we do have those scenes where the band is playing, and so that the actors could emulate, what's happening in the sound and look realistic. Having the what's it called? Oh my God. Having the composition as close to finished as possible was super important.
And
that part as well.
I have to say too, one of the things I'm really proud of is a lot of the playing is real. It's the actors playing. Elena Sanchez, returning to Elena Sanchez, actually taught herself to play drums.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. We texted her. So when we offered her the role, I think we did it over text. Or we called her or something. But anyway, so I was like, that night, I was like, should we buy her like drum pads or something so she can like practice, so she at least she knows what she's doing? And 2 hours later, she sent us a picture. She said, so this is coming to my house in 2 days. And it was a full drum kit that she had bought. And she took lessons and she practiced on her own and like all of this stuff. So when like the second that she was like, oh, I have to be a drummer. Okay, I'm going to become a drummer.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then Jeremy already knew how to play the guitar. So
everybody else
built in. Yeah.
There's a little doubling here and there when it got really hard.
Yeah.
Elena, all of the drum licks are Elena. It was just remarkable.
That's impressive.
It's the one person that came into the movie with no experience at the instrument. The rest of us had at least a little experience at the instrument. None of us are aficionados, so there's a little doubling, when there was a really tricky lick, whatever. But Elena is the only member of the band that every lick you see is her.
Right. Now, she didn't play it in the real
on the
soundtrack record, but in the movie, every single time you see a drum hit, she's hitting it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you've got, I think you said you had a premiere Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yes. So we're out here in Los Angeles right now, so talking to you from Mama Shelter, which is one of the coolest little boutique hotels in LA. And we are going to be at the TCL Chinese 6 right there on Hollywood Boulevard, next to Grauman's Chinese, the heart of it all, on Wednesday night for a big red carpet premiere. So we're really looking forward to that. And the next night we're at Arena Cine Lounge, where our movie will open and have a week-long run. We're going to do a Q&A there.
That's exciting. I think, especially with 2020, a lot of movies haven't got to do the premiere.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're getting to do that, because that's such an important part. That's what you've earned. All the hard work you've earned that night.
Yeah. And it really is something special. And it gives not only us as the primary filmmakers, but all of the cast and crew a moment to celebrate together what we built,
It's after everything that goes into these things, and you're down in the trenches. I mean, making a film at any level, but certainly at the indie level, it's a damn miracle, that it's get made. And you're right. We had one come out, a film called The Dinner Party, that came out during COVID lockdown, basically.
Yeah, like so in June or July of 2020.
So
right in the middle.
To do anything. And then Demigod was released just as things were kind of opening back up. And so this is the first one in a while where we can truly celebrate it in the way, we feel it deserves to be celebrated.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good for you that you were able to get that out there. Was there any challenges that came up during the filming that you weren't expecting?
I think the thing that I wasn't expecting is because we had given ourselves so much permission to play, as we were filming things, we would find new things and we would be like, oh man, I wish that we had done that 2 days ago when we shot this scene. And so like having those moments of like discovery that we couldn't go back and add into other scenes was probably the thing that I wasn't expecting to happen as much, because I thought, you know, we've thought all of this stuff through. We have our gags, we have all the stuff that we want to go. And still magic just happens and you find something. And
well, there was such freedom in that music video, Fantasia. You know, you could literally do anything. I mean, there were no rules, and we got in there and we just allowed ourselves to play and be free and throw the spaghetti at the wall, and you know, we came up with stuff, you know, in the moment that was
really awesome and also really dumb.
That was
dumb in the best way.
Better than what's on the page. But I think the biggest challenge for me is making those two halves of the film cohere, making this bonkers music video world feel like it's in the same movie as the real world.
Right. And
slowly as the movie progresses to sort of bring those worlds together in a way that feels earned, in a way that feels credible. And I think that was not an easy task, but ultimately I feel like we succeeded in doing so.
I hope so.
Where do you get the ideas for your movies?
I mean, a lot of it begins with us just you know, standing across the peninsula in our kitchen at, you know, happy hour, having a cocktail and batting ideas around. And, you know, I mean, there are a lot of bad ones, but every once in a while we land on a good one. And when we do, we're pretty relentless. When we get something, you get a wild hair, we're pretty much ready to run with it. And we sit down and we wrote the script in probably 3 weeks.
I would say maybe even a little less, because we were evacuated from New Orleans for Hurricane Ida, and we were basically stuck in a one room building with our 5 dogs for 2 weeks, and and no internet. So in order to keep from going crazy, we were just kind of like, okay, let's pull this one out of the, you know, out of the closet and finish it. And because we had been talking about it for years, like where it'd be like, oh man, we should do a movie about this, where this happens. And we just never really did anything with it. And then when we had this time where we couldn't do anything else, it really was like, oh, okay, this is the right time to do this. And we wrote it really fast, and everybody was pretty excited about it from the start. So
there has to be, you know, some comfort in the fact that you've already done this a couple of different times. You know, you've made movies before. So now when you're making one, you can take some chances because you kind of already know the process and stuff. So maybe that's easier.
Yeah, I think that, as you know, when you're finding your sea legs as a filmmaker, it's very easy to play it safe. And it's very easy to feel like you're getting bullied a little bit by the people on set who've had more experience than you, or more technical knowledge than you. And it took me a little while to just give myself the permission to go for it, and to give myself permission to fail. And I think this one, in each movie, I think we get a little more brazen, you know, but in this one, it was very important to us that for whatever it is, if it fails, if people hate it, it wouldn't be because we weren't going for it. You know?
That we had picked a theme or a topic or something and only half-assed it.
So I mean, you do have some confidence. I mean, after directing 7 features, this was the 7th. You do have a little bit of sense of, hey, I've been here, I've done this, I know what is going to work, I know what is not going to work. I have this kind of willingness to try, and this willingness to fall flat on my face if that's what happens. And just to the other thing I think that experience brings with it is the crew kind of, there's this comfort level, you know, they're like, I know he's been there. I know he's made movies. They've gone out into the world. People have responded to them. Not always positively, but you know,
they know that their hard work
Yeah.
won't just end
Right.
up in
They know that-
somebody's hard
they know
drive.
that
They've
the-
never seen
yeah,
the light
this
of
is not
day.
going to be a very expensive souvenir. This movie is going to see the light of day. It will have a life beyond what we're doing on set, and I think that's inspiring, and that gets people to buy in and to give you their all.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure it does. Well, thank you both for coming on and talk about it. I told you I was a big fan of Demigod, so I was excited when I saw this one come through. I think the quality of work that you put out is pretty spectacular, and I'm a big fan of your casting. So keep that universe going, because I love all those actors.
85% of directing is casting, I think. I mean, I just think, if you find the right performers to embody your characters and to speak your words, I mean, that is an enormous piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And we have been very blessed and fortunate to find actors to buy into what we do, and they deliver every time. So we're gonna keep it going.
We're gonna certainly are.
That's awesome. Well, you guys have an open invitation. When you get the next one ready, come back. We'll talk again.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I hope your audience will check us out. Check out Open. It's releasing in theaters on November 3rd, limited theaters, but streaming everywhere on November 7th. And do check out the soundtrack. If you like the music, go find it on your favorite musical streaming platform and play the crap out of it and post it on your Instagram story or your TikTok and whatever. We would love for these songs. They're so silly and so hopefully, they're wonderful to us. But we would love for them to find an audience as well.
Yeah, for sure. So last thing before I let you go, where can we find the two of you on social media? And, is there a company that we can look for as well?
So I'm most active on Instagram at Miles_Doleac. So just my name, MILES_D as in dog, OLEAC. There is an open Instagram page. It's at open film official. It's at open film _official. Social media skills notwithstanding. And there is my production company is called Historia Films.
Yep.
You can check out our website at www.historiafilms.com. Is that right, Lindsay?
So the film's official Instagram is openfilm_official.
Openfilm_official.
Yep.
And then Historia Films is the name of our production company. We post a lot on our website. And then Lindsay did that thing where she doesn't use her real name that all the publicists and the social media
tell you not to do. And no matter how many times they tell me to change it, I still haven't.
She's just outside the box.
I think that's okay.
I'm super duper active on socials, but my handle is both a Latin joke and a car joke and a Disney joke. So my handle is Puella_Deville, like the Cadillac. So
yeah, I love that. I say stick with it.
I mean, like, nobody else would do that. So I think eventually people will know that it's me. It's like, like nobody wants Jason Momoa to just be Jason Momoa. They all know that we all know that he's Pride of Gypsies. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, we use MeisterCon for our entertainment. So I get the, having something that nobody would know it's you.
Yeah. Yeah. We're on X too, I think, in the same X. You're on it.
Oh.
Formerly known as Twitter. The artist formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, I haven't been on it since it was Twitter.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're all on there just to be observers at least.
Yeah, right. Totally gonna next. Right.
Well, thank you both. Open invitation. Just let me know. We'll do this again.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, this has been great. Okay, hold on one second. Hope you enjoyed that one. Big fan of Miles's work. I think he does such a terrific job, and Lindsay is very talented. I'm guessing that as a costume designer, she's amazing. She's really good as an actress as well. So please support them if you can, especially with the fact that this one has a soundtrack. Got to get that. If you're an 80s fan, especially of that kind of 80s post-punk sound, definitely want to check out the soundtrack. The movie is open. It'll be out on the 7th everywhere. There's a limited theatrical release this weekend on the 3rd. So you can check that. Please check it out. It sounds funny, kind of exciting. I think it's going to be a great movie. I'm a big fan of his work. He mentioned a few of them. Loved Demigod. Big fan of Elena Sanchez. She was so great when she came on the show. Doesn't surprise me that she went out and learned how to play drums. She's so talented. Also a fan of Jeremy's. I think he's a really talented actor as well. He's got a great cast. So definitely check that out. Open. It'll be out on the 7th. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again with us. We definitely appreciate that. Don't take you for granted at all. We need every one of you. We're just a small father and son podcast. So, we're very appreciative of any eyes that we get on the program. And we've been lucky enough that IMDb, which is the entertainment database, recently named us one of its top 100 podcasts. I can't believe that. There's 15 million podcasts out there. To be named on a top 100 list is pretty exciting. We'd love to have your support if we don't have it already. And there's a couple of easy ways you can do it. They're free. If you're a watcher, our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please just subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. Really helps us out. If you're a listener, whatever application you're using to listen to your podcast to, just subscribe there. That'll help us as well. We've got almost 700 episodes, and you can find all of those audio and video on our website, meistercon.com. It'll let you know if we're doing something in studio, like watching Open, if we're going on location, maybe to a premiere. It'll be on there. If we're covering a convention, anything we have going on will be on the website, meistercon.com. So please check us out there. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm once again here to ask for your support. It's been a big year for the Two Opinionated podcast. Back in February, we got to live out a dream, moderate for William Shatner here in our hometown. In May, we passed 100,000 downloads on our YouTube channel, and we followed that up in June with 50,000 downloads on the audio side. We recently posted our 600th episode, which is pretty good volume for just a father and son operation. Not too many podcasts can keep that volume up. We've been doing this now for 4.5 years, 600 plus episodes. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is a really big deal for us because we've always gotten the views, but have struggled to get people to subscribe. So that 1,000 was a big deal for us. And best of all, we were recently named one of the top podcasts on IMDb, which is the entertainment database. Those that are ahead of us, we came in at number 82. Those that are ahead of us are bigger companies like Disney, mostly Marvel, and Joe Rogan, that type of podcast. So for us, being just a small West Virginia father and son podcast, to be in the top 100 out of 15 million, it's a pretty big deal for us. So thank you for everything you've done for us so far. Got a couple little ways, though, that you can help us, and they're free, and they're really easy. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, please go to YouTube. It's under MeisterCon Pod. Just hit subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Really helps us a ton. And maybe even more important, if you could go to IMDb, imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and just look around the page. Just having that traffic on the page really helps us out. So that's a couple of easy ways that you can support us, even if you're not listening or watching all of the time. And we want you to listen and watch, because I think that our guest list, I would put up against anybody, any other show, podcast, anybody out there. I think our guest list holds up. So please check us out. You probably will find somebody that you like, or maybe somebody that you didn't know you liked, but kind of discovered them on there. There's tons of that. If you're into music, we have that too. If you like books, we've got authors on there. If you're more into what goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment world, we've got producers, directors, video artists, anything you can think of that happens behind the scenes, we've had them on the show. So definitely check us out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.